is happy. What day of the week is it? We're together, so it must be Monday. Susan's back from Tulum. Angie showed up today. Yay! And guess what? You're not here for me. You really just want to talk to Laura.
Together. That's the important part.
That is the important part. So,
Hmm.
without further ado, I believe I kind of hold on one second. I kind of looking at around the room. I think everyone here knows Laura. Maybe not Marissa, but so
Marissa
I
and I know. We know
not
each other well.
that's Marissa from France
Oh,
that
yes.
you met at the event.
Oh, Marissa Goldman, two S's.
We got another Marissa in the room today. So I'll just share really quickly. Laura and I met each other in 2017, I want to say.
I think Tasha, does that mean like almost 10 years?
Yeah, long time
Hmm.
ago. And Laura was the coach that I had that really helped me um, understand how to generate multiple six figures by following a sales process. And my world is, I am forever and ever and ever, ever grateful. And I think a lot of you know the $100,000 coach story. That would be Laura. P.S. Laura, the other day, we were on a call and Tony came in, and afterwards he was like, Laura, she looks familiar. And mid conversation, he goes, oh, 100K Laura. It's
Yes, okay, please
hilarious.
use my proper name,
Yeah,
100K
right.
Laura.
It's like 100K Laura. So, Laura, one of the things that I promised this year in the Goddess program was that I really wanted us to have more conversations to support us all, myself included, in how can we, we have a lot of wealth alignment conversations, and part of creating wealth is being in service to others, and through our service to others, receiving more. And so
Hmm.
Laura is and how do we do that, Laura? How
Mhm.
do we do that really, really well? So without further ado, get your pens and paper ready. I'm turning it all over to Laura.
Hello, glorious goddesses. I am grateful to be in the room here with you today. And what I want to say is this: sales is love. You've probably heard me say this before, but here's what I really want you to understand. The process of receiving money and sales is a process that should both feel good and be effective. If we are simply going to sit on the mountaintop in our own position and say, welcome to me, we're not doing the part of the traveling around and making things happen in motion. Conversely, if we only go into the world of stats, hustle, hardcore sales, we're not going to get our outcome. So, I kind of want to tell a little story and then I'm going to teach you all a few things. So, I had a call with a gentleman, and I mostly work with women, but every once in a while I'll work with some men. And I was talking with this guy, and he's got this big team, and they're hardcore salespeople. And he's like, I don't understand what's happening. We all set our goals. We all agree to hit our goals. And most of my guys are not hitting their goals. He's like, how do I make them hit their goals more? I need them to do more. I need them to work harder, send more messages. We got to just increase everything and it'll make it work. And I said, no, that's not what we do. More does not actually give us more. But I asked him to tell me a story about one of his highest performers. And this was a leading question because I actually knew the story behind one of his leading performers. He's like, well, it's this guy, and I don't even understand what happened. And so I'm going to tell you what this guy did, and I'm going to talk about how we're going to do it together. So, this guy, who was his highest performer in the company, had what we're going to call maybe a challenging year. And I will say everything is okay, but he had two very significant losses in his family. He had an aging parent need to move in with him. He had a kid go off to school, and one of his children being diagnosed with special needs. Like you name it, life lifed in an insane way. And so here's what happened to this great, amazing high performer. And he even said to me, he's like, Laura, I don't know what happened. We had our best year yet. And I'm like, well, let me tell you what actually happened. You didn't have space, time, and energy to do the volume of work. So you got really clear and precise, and your movement towards money had to matter. which means you got laser focused on who your ideal target, who your ideal client, and who your best buyer was. You didn't have time to waste screwing around with things that didn't work. You also got really, really good at delegating, being able to say, this is on my plate and this is not on my plate. Historically, what women we tend to do is we both, by virtue of wanting to serve, and sometimes because we are only ones around, put so much on our plates that there's too much on our plates. And what I always like to say is this: when you're out there in the world, you know, those people that you see who do like the 100 calls in a month and they make all this money. Well, I'm going to tell you the secret of what actually happens. It's not the volume of all the people that they talk to. It's those magical moments, those 3 people that said yes that month, where they were aligned in their body, in their energy connected, and sent a message of resonance. They could have skipped doing all the other stuff. So that's the first place we want to start. More does not create more. Second thing I want to talk about is your wealth identity matching to what you want to receive. That's why we're all here. So there's a reason why your wealth identity must match what you're willing to receive. And some of it is in a practical place of money math, and some of it's in an energetic place. So I'm going to tell you why I am able to close as many sales as I'm able to close. It is not just because I've done like more than 10,000 sales conversations. One day I'm like, I need to figure this out. Like I have to sit down and have somebody help me make some metrics out of this. But I have sold a lot of things. I've had a lot of sales calls. But what I know how to do is I know how to see opportunity in a sales conversation. I need to hear what somebody is struggling with. I can hear what their vision is, but I am prepared and aligned. So, ladies, if you want your wealth identity to match the income you want to make, we do have to make sure you have enough, dare I say, stuff, services, products, programs, enough to sell to create that income. I did an exercise with one of my clients the other day. She's new to me, and we got on a call, and she has hit the $500,000 mark in her business probably for 6 years in a row, and she's stuck there. And I'm like, well, let's look at it real quick. Told me what her current offers are, told me what her volume and availability for her clients was, and we did the math, and I'm like, oh, look at that. It's about 548,000. She's like, that's almost like to the penny what I made last year. I'm like, yes. If you're selling your service for this amount and you can take this amount of people and you go do it, you're going to hit that cap again. So we need to look at is what do we want to change? Either the volume of people you can serve, we change the way you want to serve them, we change the rate at which you're serving them. And for her, it was simple, tiny tweaks. We turned one of her programs from 6 months to 12 months because it was the accurate choice. We changed a price point or two. We actually dropped down the number of clients she was going to work with. And instantaneously, we can see a pathway to $1 million. So what was happening for her is she was having a practical misalignment. So your wealth identity is out there. She is being the wealthy self. But what's happening is inside your life and your business, whether you are working a job, you're selling your services, if we mathed all the math, we can't get to the metric you want to get to make the money. So we're going to look at what needs to change on that side. The other thing that shows up a lot is that your self is no longer aligned to what you're selling. Have you ever had this happen where that thing that you've been doing for 10 years no longer fits and you need to change it? The thing that you've sold before no longer fits and you need to change it. I had a moment the other day where I felt out of alignment with a client. It's like, what is going on? Something feels weird. This isn't normally like this. And I was like, oh, she bought from me like 6 years ago and she's in a really old payment plan. It doesn't feel aligned to me anymore. So if right now you're finding it challenging to get your alignment to match with your identity, your offers, what you're selling, how you're showing up, what you're doing, that also has to be shifted. When things are out of sync, you're proving, you're pushing, you're pulling, you're trying to convince people to buy from you. So we need to make sure that what you're doing matches who you are today. You guys might want to sit there and think about it for a minute. Have you ever had those moments where you're like, no one's buying something from me or something's not working anymore and we can't figure out what it is? It no longer matches for you. Now, most people think you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm a huge fan of making small changes. I'm going to tell you a secret of what I do every time I want to change my income, change my wealth identity, and receive more. I go to my current existing offers and I make one tweak to them. Sometimes I will change the name of the program. Everything stays the same. Maybe I will remove one thing from the program. Maybe I will add one thing. I make one tweak, and that one tweak makes the thing new, and I can feel comfortable in how I sell, and I can step forward into the world and make sure the money flows with my new wealth identity. So if you find yourself speaking your offers, if you find yourself at your job, wherever you are that you are activating with money and things feel out of alignment, we need to make sure they match your identity. If you've been selling the same thing, working in the same role, doing all the same things, as you transform your wealth identity, we can't expect it to grow with us. We actually need to change it. So most of the time, what you're thinking you need to do is just completely change your confidence, speak more, sell more, look at the things that you're offering. Next thing I really, really want to talk about, and I'm going to dig into this one a little bit, is the difference between selling from effort and selling from embodiment. This one's a big one. So effort-based sales is a proving cycle. Ladies, I'm going to tell you a secret. You will never be able to prove your worth. Do you know why? It's not something you ever should prove. So if you find yourself in sales conversations, in any conversation that money activates, and you are over explaining, you're proving, you're using too many words, you're pushing, you're forcing, you're bending, then you're out of alignment. Embodied sales is saying things in a very clean invitation manner. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's how I can do it. Do you want it? Very clean. Speaking from clarity, like understanding what you're doing. You don't need to fill the space. Silence in a sales conversation can actually be pretty darn powerful. When you speak from certainty, simplicity, and trust, these are the things that will have someone buy. I was on a call with a new to me client the other day, and they said, what I really want is it not to matter if someone says yes or no. I was like, yeah. Have you guys ever felt that where you're like on the call and you're desperate for it? So I had a really interesting experience happen today. There's a woman that I was supposed to do a follow-up call with for her to say yes and buy today. We probably talked, I don't know, 6 or 8 times over the last 2 years. Our last conversation was truly a, like go or get off the pot kind of moment. And I said to her, I was like, look, here's what we can do. Here's how we can do it. When are we talking again? She scheduled it. And last night she sent me a little, oh, I'm sorry for last minute notice, but I hired somebody else and blah, blah, blah. And you know what I said? Great. Congratulations. I'm glad that you found your way to what you actually need. Now, do I wish I hadn't poured as much energy into her? Yeah. But you know what? I am detached from the energy of it needing to be her who says yes. What was more important is how I chose to show up. What was more important is that I made her an offer that matched my wealth identity, my way of working together. There will be another person who comes around, but if I had pushed, pulled, pivoted, tried to convince and pull her, she would not have been an aligned client. There's a really lovely woman that at some point I would like for her to come into our little goddess world. Actually, Tasha, help me remember to connect you to Jessica. Um, ladies, this is called seeing and hearing opportunities. I remember talking with her, and her goal this year is to only work with clients that are really people she can help. And what she means by that is not, I can help everyone, but she is going to turn people away that aren't going to get excellent results with the work they do. Historically, she can sell to a lot of people, she can work with a lot of people, but not everybody, it's going to turn the dial and they're going to get the results the way she wants it. So she's kind of being ruthless this year. She is only going to sell to people that basically she can guarantee results for. And that's a pretty amazing thing. And what that means is she's so well defined to who her ideal client is. Okay, the next thing I really want to talk about is There are three, well, there's probably a lot, but I had three that I thought of that I think are very important. Shifts that are going to make money move differently for you. We started to talk about them, but I really want to activate them with each of you. So, one is stop explaining your worth. I think I'm going to bring this up probably a couple more times during this call because I think what everyone tries to think when you're doing your own like brand-based business, everything that we do, we still think it's us, whether we're selling financial services or accounting or website or coaching, it still feels like us. We're the service provider. We're doing something, so we need to prove our worth. No, what you actually are selling is the value of what you're giving, not your worth. Yeah, worth, WORTH. You still might need to do some work. But what I mean by the difference is if you are selling your worth, then it's all tied into the personal connection for them to buy from you and what you can prove and what you can do. That is imbalanced. When you are selling the value of what you are offering, that is outside of you. It comes through you, and people can buy it in a clean manner. Best way I can describe this is it's if you know that you can help somebody create $10,000 worth of something, the value of what you're giving to them is the value exchange of learning the process to sell something that's $10,000 or receiving it. It might be that they learn it once and they can use it 20 times over. That's what the value is. If you're trying to say your worth, it means that it's all on your side. This is why if you've ever sold to clients and they're not getting results the way that you would want or the way that they would want, it's usually because they are looking to you as savior, and that's what happens when you sell your worth. So instead, when you sell the value of what someone's going to receive, they can buy it in a different manner. Next thing I want you guys to really connect into is selling and naming the transformation clearly. When people are unsure about what they're going to receive from you, it makes it very hard to purchase. When things are very clear, people can buy them. I used to talk about selling toilet paper, but I think I might have found a better thing. So, clarity in your offer and value exchange. So, the other day, our faucet started leaking in the kitchen. It was an urgent need, needs to be repaired. I called the plumbing company. They came out, they looked at it, and they basically gave us two options. Completely replace the faucet for $2,000. For some reason, I'm like, what is that? Why is it that much? Or they could screw the thing on the top and fix the little piece that needed to be fixed, and that was only $400. So I went with the little piece of fix. Now, here's what's important. Here was the transformation. Water was leaking out of our faucet. I needed the water to stop and the thing to work again, the faucet. That is clear transformation. The person came in our house, fixed the thing, and clear. Each of you has that. No matter what your service is, you can describe it in that clear manner. Value exchange. I didn't need a brand new faucet. If I had bought the $2,000 faucet, I would feel imbalance in value exchange because the thing that we have on there is only 2 years old and it wasn't broken. There was just one little piece that was broken. So my value exchange felt great for just the piece to be fixed. That's what you want to look at when you're looking at the work that you're doing together. The next part that I want you really to connect into, and this one is a practice, and I'm going to give you a way to do it. Detachment from the outcome. Dun, 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 dun. You guys ever had that experience where you said something kind of like as a off the cuff, just fine, this is what I do. If you want to take it, go, because I'm tired or something happens or you don't care, or it doesn't really matter. And then the people are like, cool, let me buy it. And then you have those precious moments where you're like, this is my one person who can buy from me. I have to make sure it works. And you're so attached to the yes, and they say no. So, how do we practice detachment from the outcome? So, I'm going to give you a practical way that I do it and an energetic way that I do it. So, one is I practice detachment from the outcome and things that don't have anything to do with sales so that my body feels good at that. And I'm going to give you a great example. So, every day around 10:30, my husband brings me lunch. I am detached from the outcome of what he brings me. I know it's usually a salad something. Once a week, it'll be a soup something. He knows what I like to eat. So I know I'm always going to be fed something that is going to fill me up, my soul, my body, everything, and I'm going to be happy. But I am detached from what it needs to be. It's a low to no risk way for me to practice the experience of detachment because this isn't detachment of like, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? The detachment piece is what's it going to look like? I am in the expectation that every day lunch will show up so I can stay connected, just like sales. Every day sales will show up, but I'm detached from what it needs to be. That is the practice of detachment. So when I am speaking to somebody in a sales conversation, I can become fully committed and connected to who they are. I can fall in love with them. They can fall in love with me. I can want to help them. I can have all of that, but I can stay detached from whether or not they need to buy from me. And this is independent of what's inside my bank account because I know there is somebody else there. So how I practically practice this is before every sales call, if I find myself feeling grippy, like I need this sales call to happen. Like today, when I got that message that was like, no thanks, I'm like midnight, you message me when we're supposed to talk at 12 noon, not 12 noon, 1 o'clock today or something. I don't know. At some point, you can feel I have a little bit of energy around this. But she messages me and it's like, oh, no thanks. You couldn't have sent me that message on Friday because I know you signed up with the person on Friday or even Thursday. But instead of me getting swirled in that, do you know what I did? I went into my inbox. I realized there was somebody that I had to reschedule. And I reached out to her and I was like, hey, are you around? I have the open space today. And she's like, oh, today doesn't work. I'm like, that's no problem. We're talking next week. But I activated my energy around knowing there's another lead. I'm going to give you one more piece of this because I think it's critically important. This will transform your sales process. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. You're going to probably hear it to me every time I do any call with you ladies. There are more people on this planet that you can serve and sell to than you will have opportunity in your lifetime to serve. Now, I was given a really amazing gift. I've always believed that there are an unlimited number of prospects and of clients. I've felt it, I've known it, I've believed it, but every once in a while I still get that like little questioning moment in me that's like, well, but that person didn't say yes. Where's my next thing? And one of my team members installed a system inside of our company that goes out there and scrapes the wonderful world of the internet and sends people messages to connect with me. And every day I wake up and there's like 15 new people for me to respond to. So I'm physically getting the experience of abundance. Now I could do that manually. Side note, doesn't have to be a system, it doesn't have to be a tool. If you go open up any social network platform that you have, any of them, and you just start messaging people and seeing how many people there are in the world, you're going to find that there's an unlimited abundance of resource. Okay, here's the next thing that I'm going to teach. And then I'm also going to open up the doorway because I always find that it's much more effective when you show up and tell me where you're stuck and I give you the support and everyone can see it. But what I want for you also to understand is how to see opportunity. The way that money can flow to you is by seeing opportunity. And what I want you to realize is this is not being opportunistic. I do not go to every call ready to sell to every person I talk to. I go into every conversation knowing what I have to offer, being so clear about who my ideal client is that if I sat down next to her, I could look at her and be like, hey girl, hey, you're mine. Let's work together. And the other one is I listen for opportunity. I hear words that indicate I'm struggling with something and I need help. I hear words that indicate I have something I want to create. And the way that I do this is by following my 5 steps to yes. So I'm going to teach it one more time because this allows me to always walk into a call ready to sell. It does not mean that I sell to everyone I meet, but it means that I show up with my opportunity in mind. So the pre-step is before I get into a call, a conversation with anyone in this world, I determine what I want the outcome of the call to be. Now, here's what I mean by that. It doesn't mean that I show up and I'm like, I have to get you as a client, or I have to create a JV opportunity, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. It just means that prior to any conversation, I've already kind of assessed the plane to see what is an opportunity. Have you guys ever gotten on a call where you meet this new person and you talk and it's amazing and you're like, oh my God, there's so many ways to work together and there's ideas and we could do something and we could da, 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 da. And then you leave the call and they're awesome. And maybe you talk again, but it never materializes into anything. The reason why that's happening is because neither one of you showed up to the call aware of what you want and need right now and have available for, and are able to create it in that conversation. So, what I do is I'm always critically aware. I know I have a podcast, so I'm always looking for a great podcast interview connection. I know I have a small email list, and every once in a while I like to send out an email. And I always love to be invited to guest expert. So I know the ways that I want to interact with somebody if that's a referral partner opportunity. I know my offers. I know them backwards, forwards, and sideways. So if I'm talking with somebody, I know how I can present them. And I know my ideal client backwards, forwards, and sideways. So if I'm talking to her and she says certain words, she goes in the bucket of saying, oh, she's a prospect. If I'm talking to a referral partner, I go, ooh, okay, she's a referral partner. So I have a couple channels. I'm going to ask her for a direct referral. I'm going to tell her what kind of direct referral. I'm going to invite her to my podcast, or I'm going to ask if I can guest expert in her arena. I don't create new opportunities. I have my ways of doing things, and I show up. And if there's alignment, I get to activate them. That's the big difference between how I do sales and how everybody else does it. I'm ready and know what I want and need before I get to the call. And ladies, there's a gorgeous thing called social media. You can find anything you need to know about anyone you're going to talk to by doing a very quick search of them. Find out a little bit about what they've got going on and lead the conversation. You probably have heard it before, but I'm going to teach the 5 steps to yes because it's worthwhile in remembering. Side note, I did this with a client I've been working with probably for like, I don't know, maybe 8 years. I said something to her and I'm like, something's a little off. Are you following the 5 steps to yes? And she's like, oh, I think I stopped doing it. I'm like, you did, you stopped. Let's start again. So step 1 is to create connection. Ladies, we buy from those that we know, like, and trust. Remember how I said stop being improving energy? This is the first step to not being improving energy. Show up as yourself and show how the two of you have something in common. Everyone that you're meant to work with, you have something in common with. Step 2 is listen and learn. This is where I'm asking people, what are you struggling with? What do you have too much of? Too little of? What do you want? What do you not want? What are you struggling with? And why does it need to change now? Remember, I'm listening into this one, and what's opening up for me is, ooh, to go into the bucket of their client, they're struggling with their sales. They're struggling with something that I help my clients with. Or if they start talking about struggling with needing something that like a referral partner might need, I'm listening. I also ask, why does this need to change now? There's no why now. They will not buy now. So when I'm talking with somebody and they don't have an urgent need to change, I already know they're probably not in a prospect bucket. What most people usually do is when they hear that somebody has a struggle and they don't activate why it has to change now, you go into proving energy. I can prove to you that your problem is so big and I'm the only one that can fix it. Let's stay out of that. Let's just find out, why does it need to change now? Step 3 is your vision. Find out what they actually want. I'm always asking for this because here's what most people do. They find out what someone's struggling with and they immediately try to go into solve. Well, guess what? If you don't find out what somebody wants, you've tried to solve a problem and you might not have the solve that they want. It's kind of like I always liken it to I don't want to take a long hike. I don't want to go fishing. So if you tell me my only thing to do to fix this is I have to go hike in the woods, get muddy, and sit and fish, I'm probably not going to buy from you. Even if what you're giving me is, keys to the kingdom, golden goose, all the things, I don't want to do it that way. However, if you ask me what my vision is, and you say to me, well, Laura, I have this magical pathway that's going to get you out of your struggle and get you to your vision, and it's super easy, and we get to do it together. Would you like to do it? I'll be like, yeah. And then you're like, great. So we're going to go hike through the woods for 2 weeks and you're going to fish. And that's going to get you out of your struggle and get you to your vision. I'm going to be way more on board with doing something maybe I didn't want to do. So let's recap a little bit. Connection, showing how we have something in common. We buy from those that we know, like, and trust. Struggle, find out, listen, and learn what it is that they're struggling with, why they're struggling with it, why does it need to change now? Vision, ask them what they want. They're going to tell you. They're going to tell you exactly what they want. Remember, if you're listening for a prospect or if you're listening for a referral partner or an opportunity, they're going to tell you these things. Step 4 is the invitation. This is my big one. This is the one where I can turn any conversation into opportunity. If I hear that somebody is a prospect, I'm going to invite them into a program. Here's what I do. Here's who I do the work with. Here's how we do it. Here's what the transactional outcome is going to be. Outcome. Transformational outcome. Sorry, not transactional. I go straight to how we can work together. If I'm talking on a call with somebody who's a referral partner, my invitation is going to be, oh my goodness, you should come onto my podcast, or I should come into your world and guest expert. Here's how we can do something together. I'm very clear on that. Be clear on what you're offering people. Step 5 is the close. This is where we collect credit cards. This is where we schedule a podcast episode, schedule a referral partnership, schedule whatever it is. Those are the 5 steps. They're very clear and very easy, and they can turn into an outcome. Now, this is the other piece, and then I'm going to open for Q&A because I want you each to step forward and tell me, maybe not each, but as many as we can, what's going on with your sales, where you get stuck, and where we can get you unstuck, which is when you are following the 5 steps to yes, we need to have the metric and the math work. Are you making enough offers to match your wealth identity? Here's what I know. In my business, we have a metric that we track. I would like 4 sales calls every single week. I know with 4 real sales calls every week, I never have a drop in my volume of clients. I'm going to tell you a secret, ladies. I never have 4 sales calls a week. I have 1 and they close. I have 7 and 2 close. Or I have 3 and all 3 close. It's never exactly even, but it's a metric that I'm matching for. And if I ever see something not working, I go back to that metric. The second side is I know that I have enough, again, stuff or services to sell to match my wealth identity. That doesn't mean that that's the only way that money comes through to me. But when my being is congruent, I show up as my wealthy self and I can actually receive. Here's my bonus one. And then what I want you to do is to step forward with your questions. So just raise your little hands, the virtual ones, so I can call upon you. For years and years, I would do this thing where I'm on Zoom, no one can see me, but I wear my $1 million shoes when I'm doing a sales call. They're very cute. They're very sparkly. They're Jimmy Choos, and I love them. No one ever sees them, but something happens when I stand up straight, when I'm in my powerful self, not performative self. Now, what I want you again to hear in that is I always will say to my gals, put your lipstick on. I do not actually mean wear lipstick. What I mean is that thing that makes you feel all the way powerfully you is actually what keeps you out of proving energy. When your wealth identity matches, when you say phrases to the person across the table from you that you're selling to, I genuinely like you. I would like to work with you. I don't need to work with you as a client. Now, be careful on how you say that, but what I want your energy to be is there's no have to. That energy, that detachment will allow people to say yes. All right, loves, let's be a little interactive. We've got some space and time. I want you to show up and ask me your specific questions or tell me what is showing up for you when you look at either your receiving account, your wealth accounts, your actual sales process, the volume of client conversations. Tell me what's showing up for you and let me give you some guidance and support The more you can be interactive, the more I can help you and everyone in the room. I know
Hi,
there's somebody
Lori.
here. Oh, yes.
I just wanted
Ah.
to, oh, okay. I couldn't figure out how to raise my hand, so I just unmuted. I was like, where's the button? Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you, really. This is really good. And over the weekend, I just found this conversation confirming because all I kept hearing was like simple, keep it simple, like simplicity, be very, very clear
Mhm,
and detached like
mhm.
from the outcome like you said, so thank you so much for that. And then
Mm.
I have a quick question. What's the name
Please.
of the podcast? Because you keep telling us
Oh,
this, but you didn't tell us
yay!
the
I
name of your
know.
podcast.
It's literally starting to be dropped. It's the Epic Income Leap. You guys
Ooh.
should come listen to it. At some point, I'm sure I can share some links and stuff. But I'm having some real conversations with women about relationship-based sales instead of transactional sales.
Mm.
It's I've been like able to have fascinating conversations with people I care about. I also want to backtrack for one hot second, Lisa. You said something really important that I want everyone to hear. Keep it simple. Nobody out there is buying your 27 steps, your 14-part process, or even your 4-part process. What they want to buy is, do you understand what their struggle is? Do you understand their vision? And can you help them get through it? The how becomes less relevant. So when you have your process, when you have your offer, Lisa, this is what I do. I have very slender offerings, but if I'm talking with somebody that I know needs a lot of information, I give them more information. When I'm talking with somebody that I know needs just a little bit, I give them just a little bit. And if they ask for more, I can expand and give them more information. So make sure your stuff is so simple, anyone could understand it. Mia, it's your turn. Hello.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. You look
Hmm.
beautiful, Lisa.
Lisa is gorgeous.
Isn't she? I was like, ooh. Um, I just love listening to you. I can listen to you all day. My,
Mia, do you want to have my WhatsApp so we can just talk all day long?
of course. Um, so for me, I've been working with Tasha on this as well. I'm moving from a space of with my messaging. I think
Mhm,
we're getting there because I am seeing more of an inflow of more ideal clients. So my previous messaging was, I think I was attracting people that, they needed help with budgeting and really just overall getting their finances together. But that is more of like an assessment. That's not something that I actually make a profit from.
mhm,
And so um I guess my question is, as I'm transitioning out of that space and moving into a messaging of around, guaranteed lifetime income, tax-free retirement, and cash value life insurance, how do I kind of, I guess I'm asking, do I need to do a rebrand? Like, how do I do that
mm,
one tweak? Because I need to keep it simple because I'm like
mhm.
really mentally tired
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Okay, this is the easiest answer. Um, you don't have to change anything else out in there in the world. Change what you're saying on your calls.
Hmm.
And as you're refining and defining that, you will then adjust what you're putting out in the world. Everyone will put, so like I met these really lovely women that were tired, done, exhausted, and didn't have any clients because they put all of their energy in their program build out, all of their energy into building their online presence. And they didn't save any of the energy for sales conversations and marketing. So just go change what you're saying on your calls because here's what'll also happen. You have a strong referral based business as well. So as you're bringing new people in and your messaging is tight and you're getting to the right person, they're going to refer those kinds of people to you. You can deal with messaging, marketing, and rebranding down the road. Go be in conversation with the change.
Laura,
Thank you.
I just want to jump in because me and I have been talking about this, and I think it might be helpful for other people too. One of the things that you said earlier was name the transformation, like keep it really simple.
Mm,
And Mia, we talked about this, right? So as the experts, we have to always remember to speak in the language that they speak in. So you, like I just heard you say it, tax deferred income. Never once do I lay
Mm,
awake at night, ever, thinking, you know what, in my golden years, I want tax deferred income. Never. Never done it, Mia. Never done it. Know what I stay awake at night thinking? Holy shit, how much money do I have for retirement? It's
hmm
just that simple. Guaranteed retirement income. You don't need to say
mm,
anything else to me. I don't care about taxes. Talk to me about taxes afterwards, right? But in the way I worry about it, the way it's a
hmm
problem in my head is guaranteed retirement income.
Yeah,
So
I
messaging
love that.
wise, just start like, yeah, simplifying down to how they say the problem. Yeah, that was that.
Thank
Mm,
you.
I love that. Yeah. Clear over clever. Marissa with two S's.
Well,
Hello, my
so for
dear.
those just starting out, I guess how would I
Mm,
implement what you taught today? So I have a therapy practice, and then
mm.
roughly in April, I want to start a healing circle. So I have
Ooh,
already started marketing for the healing circle, or
yep.
even for my therapy practice, it isn't full. Um, so whether it's to get more clients in the therapy practice, but essentially, I
Mhm.
want to start the healing circles. So then, what route would I go to get that established?
Perfect. Okay, so first things first, don't put too much into putting it together before you start selling it. I'm a big fan of sell it first, build it second, and here's why. As you start to have sales conversations, you're going to hear the words that people are actually saying. Just how Tasha was talking with Mia about no one's like tax deferred retirement. I can't remember what it was. Like it's the way they say it. When you figure out the way they say it, it's going to be easier for them to buy. So just give yourself a very simple Google Doc, write out what the circle is, who you think it's for, and then I would start getting into conversations with people. And you're going to follow the 5 steps to yes. You're going to hear what they say in the, oh, I would love that. And you can pre-sell them if it doesn't start till later. If they have objections or there's resistance, guide them through that and ask this question. What would make it a yes? So years and years back, I used to do this thing where before I would offer a new opportunity, I'd go to an existing client and say, I want to sell this to you, and I want you to tell me what you think. This is how Tasha might have gotten one or two of our workings together. And I'm like, look, I'm not selling this to you, but here's what I'm thinking about doing. And truly, I wasn't. And I would offer the offer and I'd ask for feedback on an existing client because that person's feedback is actually important. I'm going to give you a little example. A couple of years ago, when I sold my first 100K offer, I went to a client and I was like, hey, this is what it is, and this is what's included. And she said to me, Laura, I love you. I trust you. I would buy anything from you, and I'm not going to buy this. And I went, oh, what would make it a yes? And she's like, honestly, right now I'm struggling with my team. If there was a team intensive in here where you would come in, work with my team, do a call with them and figure all this stuff out, this would be a yes. And I was like, surprise. Guess what bonus just got included in this program? And she's like, okay. So listen to what, not like, oh, I need more, I need this. What you want to start hearing is what they want. And the reason why I was able to include it in the package is because what I had said was there were 2 strategic intensives, and she heard strategic intensives. I just called one a team intensive, and she was like, oh, that matches. So, what I would recommend for getting going is go to your current existing clients or network, say to them, I have something new and exciting. Are you open to talking about it before I sell it? Walk them through the 5 steps to yes, ask them, connect with them because you know them, ask them, what are they struggling with? What is their vision? And then when you describe your healing circle is designed to solve their struggle, get them to their vision, and then ask them how they would like to get started. Don't worry about your volume of people that you know. Start with selling it to one person and get insight and feedback, and then go to the next person and the next person. I think that's the other thing is we get caught in the land of if you want 20 people in it, you think you have to become aware of 100 people and organize and do it, and it becomes overwhelming. Just go find one person and start selling it to that one person.
Okay. And then potentially, if I already know what they are struggling with, I would still have to ask them the ending portion of the 5 steps.
Always. And here's why. You knowing what they're struggling with and them knowing what they're struggling with are different things. When you're on a sales conversation, what you're actually doing is you're getting agreement and you're helping them with decision making. So you're helping them connect with you and you're connecting with them. You're speaking about their struggle. And if you know them and you know their struggle, you can even say, Tina, I know you. I know you're struggling with ABC, but let's talk about a little bit. What do you think is really going on for you right now? And have her affirm or reiterate it, or have her start with it and then you affirm or expand it. Then ask for the vision. What would you like? If you painted a picture of a beautiful new world, here's what it looks like. And then you're just showing that your work together is the bridge that gets them out of their struggle and gets them to their vision. And please, 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 for all things that are holy, take the credit card on the phone. It's the most important thing to do in your sales conversation. It is what activates commitment and keeps you out of follow up, follow up, follow up, hope they pay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome and welcome. It's good to have you here. All right, Raziel. Did I say your name correctly or did I butcher it?
No, it's Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm close. I'm almost there. You can call me
Nice
what
to
you want to
meet
call
you,
me. My
Laura.
darling, how can I support you?
This is amazing because a lot of things that I'm listening to the other goddess, making it simple. My work deals with a lot of event stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that they need for events, and I could sell pretty much anything. So I could see the abundance there. The one thing is just approaching. I think when I look back, and I worked with Tasha about this, most people don't know what the expansive things that I do. But then that's kind of like in between. How much do I show them? Because sometimes it's overwhelming them.
Mm-hmm.
And how much can I just say, hey, maybe I could create a package that to sell them.
Yep.
I'm kind of like in between in that.
You're stuck in the two. I know exactly what's going on. Funny thing, I have a background in events. I used to do event production and sell them. So here's my 2 cents. I would create for yourself kind of like VIP luxury bespoke. You can have anything you want, unlimited budget offer, a core offer, which matches most people, and then like a simple phase 1 small bite offer that you are aware of. And when you talk to them, you don't always need to describe all of them, but you can kind of pull the one forward that matches. And then here's a really helpful tool for you and for anyone else in the room who wants it. If I want to gauge what somebody's budget is or what they're willing to spend on something, and I don't want to ask them that directly. So side note, depending on what your service is, it's worth asking directly. What is your budget for this? What did you expect to spend? What do you have planned? I will bring something into the conversation like this. And it's funny, I always talk about like a Bentley, a Range Rover, and like a Honda. And I would be like, well, let's just talk for a minute. Like, what kind of car is the car that would match for you? Are you the person that wants like a steady Honda that's like the $20,000 car? I don't even know if they make $20,000 cars anymore. I'll find out next year when my son's driving. But like, do you want the steady standard car that's a couple $100 a month that's going to get you going? Do you want a nice luxury vehicle, something that's like a Range Rover style? It's a little bit more premium. Or do you want the Bentley that nobody else has and it's bright pink and has gold wheels? Tell me which one matches to who you are. And what I'm listening for and hearing is what somebody describes. Sometimes I'll do it where, like when we're in the struggle and the vision, sometimes in struggle, I'll say things like, when you're struggling, sometimes struggle shows up with what's in your bank account. Sometimes it shows up with how many friends you have. So I'm looking for a lack. And then when people talk about their vision, I always hear like, I want my dream house on the beach. And I'm like, okay, talk me through the dream house. Are we talking like a beautiful little cabana on the side of the beach that kind of might fall over if the wind blows? Are we talking about a beautiful little like beach house that has like 2 bedrooms? It's just nice and small for your family. Are we talking about the luxury landscape of you walk up off the beach? And again, what I'm doing is I'm looking for their taste, their desire, and their money amounts That's going to help you, especially when you have them visualize what they're doing.
Interesting. Because I never really talked to them about the vision like that. It's
Hmm.
mostly the vision, what they want to accomplish in their event. It's not
Hmm.
necessarily what they want in life. So is that a different conversation that I should direct them to?
You can do both and. So when you're talking about the event, just swap out instead of dream home. That like I do lots of types of events. I do the events where it's like I'm making this up, so make it true. Like a beautiful picnic table with two little vases of daisies, and it's very like, just dreamy. I've done the events where it's, like beautiful tables with, lilies of the valley, beautiful flowers, and then there's some crystal chandeliers. And then I've done the events where we roll out the red carpet and we bring out the live tiger, and there's the like, some band that everybody knows playing on stage. You can describe it like that. And then you can say, great, I'm starting to get an idea for your budget, your connection to what you want to spend, what experience you want to cultivate. If you start to talk about that, it's going to be easier. And then there's one more thing I want to say to everyone in this room. Own what it costs. Ladies, don't shrink. If the service that you do is $20,000, if the service that they want is $1 million experience, claim it, land the plane, say what it is.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Thank you.
I want to piggyback on what you said, Laura, in support of Raz. Now I'm very conscious of that. I've never said her name properly.
Oh, that's okay.
Razel, help. Rachel. I'm like, oh, Roz, please love me. A couple things, and I just want to be very transparent that even, hearing Laura support you, I am being supported myself. So this is me talking to you, me talking to me. I think me talking to all of us is number one. I think one of the things that we've talked about this a lot, we've all talked about this, is really getting into your wealth identity first. Must, because I think one of the hardest things for you is running your business for so long below your wealth identity, right?
Mm.
So that's number one, identity first. And then the other thing is there's so much information that we can receive when we really ask the struggle and the vision question. I think Laura was right. Make sure you have high, middle, low ticket things. You already have them, they're ready to go. But in them telling you about the struggle and the vision, that's where the opportunity to deliver the thing that they actually want versus you, because Roz, I'm guilty of this myself. Because I've always only sold pens as a promotional item, right? No, without the struggle and the vision, my offer is always going to be pens. But the more I have the conversations and they're like, Raz, I want this event. I want 500 leads. I don't want to do anything other than show up the day of the event. That's it. And you're like, okay, I can do all these things for you if that's your vision, right? And you tell them that package, they may very well end up with pens and a branded tablecloth. But in the conversation is where you get to have the opportunity to offer your all the ranges of your product and services.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Oh, and don't forget to sell to the highest level. Because what your person, you might perceive they want pens on tables, but they might be the person who actually wants the bells and whistles. So always make sure you're making bells and whistles as well and let them make their choice. Because I like to say, I don't believe anyone's money story, even when they tell it to me. I've had people that I would not think would have purchased at a certain level, but I make them the correct offer for them and they will say yes to it. So don't assume what the person is, give them the opportunity to see the opportunities.
I love that. And I've gone through some of that where I thought they would only buy this, but they're
Mhm.
willing to buy a lot more.
Yep. Yep. And ask them questions. Like, ladies, the more you can be comfortable in a sales conversation talking about money and you're the one feeling comfortable, they will feel comfortable. Like I was on a call with these guys who manage about $35 billion, billion. And everyone else was like, I was like, whatever, dudes. Let's talk about money. I was like, how much do you want to spend? What are you already spending? And I watched them relax while I was relaxed. And then everyone was trying to do the posture thing. Just relax, talk about money. There's no charge to it. There's nothing good about you or bad about you based on what your prices are. There's nothing good or bad about them based on whether they want them or not. Help them understand what the value is they're going to get for it. The lifetime experience of having a tiger come out that the whole world talks about, or the lifetime experience of them spending on pens and a tablecloth, and they get 13 leads that turn into tons of money and they didn't have to spend a lot on it. Let them choose what value exchange they want.
So many juicy stuff that's going on my head right now. Thank you.
You're welcome, my darling. Okay, now I'm thinking I don't know anyone's names. Tavia?
Yes,
Yes.
correct. Thank you so much.
For some reason, I also need to use my hands to talk, apparently.
It's working. It's working.
It's working. My darling, how can I support you today?
Thank you. Amazing information. One thing I noticed about something that you said was that in the past, I've used a lot of my energy on the marketing and the preparation and didn't have as much energy during the sales. So that was like, okay. My question is, I'm doing a 5-day challenge and I wanted to ask, I have my offer is at a higher price point than it used to be previously. So it's a 25K offer. So I was wondering during something like a 5K challenge, I know there's multiple different sales strategies. Some people will sell from the stage during the challenge, and then some people, recommend calls. Um, I've kind of been vacillating a little bit, probably especially because my offers um,
Mm-hmm.
has increased based on the
I'll tell
service.
you the answer. It's very easy, and it's probably not the answer you're going to think, but it's going to be good for everyone as well. Do what you are most comfortable doing, asterisk. If you have pre-sold your 25K offer on individual sales calls and you are landed and you feel great, go sell to the group. If you haven't done that, what's going to happen is even if your offer is magnificent, you're going to feel uncomfortable during the challenge. And then you're going to make meaning out of whether people buy or don't. Anytime I'm selling something that is either new or changed, I will positively default to selling on sales calls because what it allows me to do is a few things. If you're selling an offer to a group and you put your offer out to the group, they can buy it or not buy it and you don't really get any other feedback than that. However, if you are in a group scenario like a challenge or a webinar or something and you sell a sales call and you get someone on a call and you're talking to them, even though you have your primary offer, if they're, oh my God, I need the super premium, well, sell up to the super premium. If they show up on the call and they've got some specific needs or wants or shifts, you can overcome their objections on their call. Or if they need a small bite to start, you can sell them to the package that will match for them. So it'll give you more opportunity for sale. The other way I look at it is how warmed up is your audience to you? Have they been following you forever? Are they going through this challenge? And it's the 5-day challenge they've done for years over and over, and they're just waiting for you to drop the link and buy. Then you can do that. I just have a sense that your sales call opportunity is going to match a little bit more. And if you are doing that, I wouldn't speak the price point of the offer. I would talk about ways to work together and that you want to explore it. And then I would weave in things like, if we were going to work together privately one-to-one, this would normally be multiple 5 figures. I have a special way I'm working with my clients. Come book a call so we can talk about what it's going to be like. So you're getting some container in there and context to money, but you're not giving them just a number.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And here's what I want to bring forward for everybody else. What I really want you to hear. New offers. Go sell them to a person. And I want to be careful I want to be clear on what I'm saying. Selling to somebody and getting someone to buy are different things. Just go sell it. Whether the person says yes or no, that's almost irrelevant. You get comfortable speaking and selling it. Get the insights, get the feedback, get comfortable with that, and then you can go sell it to more people. There's also something really, really strong in having a pre-sale. I have to tell you guys a funny thing. A million years ago, and I'll respect the time because I know we're at the top of the hour, but I did a live event and I got so scared that it wasn't going to work, that people weren't going to show up and I wasn't going to be able to sell, that I went and sold 9 out of the 12 available spots that I had for my mastermind before the event started. Because I was like, well, I need to go pre-sell this and talk to enough people so I feel confident before I get on stage. So, fun story. I ended up opening up more spots and I sold about 24 while I was at the event. But like, go pre-sell before you go do the big marketing activity, and you will walk into the room feeling comfortable, confident, and you will have had the experience of going through the objections. And then people will think that you are reading their minds when you're giving your group offer, because you're speaking to their objections, you're speaking to their visions, you're speaking to what they want because you've talked to enough people. I cannot over explain, stress, and say the power of a sales conversation is maybe the most important tool in your business. It allows you to make the direct sale. You can talk to somebody, you can sell them something, they can buy something from you. It's the lifeblood of your business. But more importantly, when you're in a sales conversation, you'll for Mia, you'll get the words that the person says. I just want to know I have enough money in retirement. Oh, everybody says that? Then that's what I'm going to start saying in my messaging. You can hear what people say as their vision. Like, I get to a point where I'm like, I can almost say what the person's going to say before they say it, because I've talked to enough people with the same thing. I'm like, oh, I bet you want this. And they're like, how'd you know? And I'm like, because I've talked with 100 people just like you. So go utilize the tool of the sales call, make your life simple, and make a lot of money. Oh, and celebrate every sale. Here's one more thing. Ladies, if you want to activate your highest level wealth identity, do not diminish when someone buys something from you. I did it the other day. I found myself saying, oh, there's just like a little 6K package. It didn't matter. And I was like, oh, well, that just told the universe I don't want more people coming my way. So how about if I celebrate? I say thank you. I got a little $1.81 check. I had a moment. I'm like, I don't even know how to get this into the bank. Like, is this worth it? I don't know how to do it, but I celebrate it. So activate all of your receiving and accept the things that are coming your way.
Ah, Laura, the golden goose amongst us all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming today. I saw all the ladies visioning having to get to this level. That's right. Ladies, was this amazing? We love us some Laura. You love her as much as I do. Awesome. All right, Laura, remember to send me your link for your podcast so I can share with everyone.
Yes.
And Laura has agreed, I think, to come one other time during the year to like fuel us up again, once or twice. All right.
Something. You call upon me and I will come back. That's how it works.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure that she came early enough in the year so that we can start using and implementing some of these things. And then when she comes back, we can go, okay, Laura, like we're gonna have more intelligent conversations as you start putting some of these things into practice, right? All right. Thank you, ladies. Have a great afternoon. Thank you, Laura.
Bye, sweethearts.
Bye.